In this video, we will introduce Android installation. Android has become a market-moving technology platform, not just because of the functionality available in the platform, but because of how the platform has come to the market. Developing applications for Android may be done from the Windows XP, Vista, or even the 7 environment, a Mac OS X, Intel-only environment, or a Linux environment. We will be setting up development on Windows. In order to get started with Android development, we need to check the system requirements and then download and set up a Java Development Kit, or JDK, the Android SDK, and the Eclipse IDE. Let's look at a basic example of downloading the Android SDK and setting it up. I have an internal web browser open in a tab, and I also have developer.android.com SDK index.html open. Here we can get the Android SDK. All you will be doing is pressing the download. When the download dialog comes up, download it to wherever you're going to save the file and then run it and install it. So agree to the terms and the conditions and then select 32-bit or 64-bit and select download the SDK ADT bundle for Windows. When you have installed that, you're going to want to set up an Android environment variable in Windows. Hold down the Windows key, pause, and you can open up the system properties, go to advanced and select environment variables, and you're going to set one up called Android_SDK home, and you're going to point that to wherever you want your SDK downloaded and installed in. I have mine installed in Android SDKs, and then I have my installation. Once you're done adding that environment variable by clicking new, you're going to want to add that to your class path. So here, within the percent signs, I've added my Android SDK home environment variable. Now let's look at the SDK manager. The Android SDK is a very useful tool that allows developers and users alike to take more control of their devices. There might be a time when you want to add or remove something from your phone and you might not know how. Or maybe you might need to test something that isn't working correctly and you need to find out why. The SDK can help us with any of these questions. There are many uses for the Android SDK. Here we have, for example, the Android SDK tools. This is a necessary package to run your SDK. We also have the platform tools, and this will be installed once you first run the SDK manager. Here we have a platform, and at least one of these must be installed in your environment to run your application. And from here we can download the system images, and it's a good practice to download all the images for the version so you can test your app on them with the Android emulator. And we also have the SDK samples, which will give us code samples to learn about Android. So all you will do to install is just select anything that you want and say install. This concludes our discussion of Android installation.